Good afternoon. Welcome to the tea table. The sun is shining in all its glory, and I love when I have to put sunglasses on. But I'll take them off for you. But isn't it just a beautiful Easter week we are having, Holy Week? And today is Maundy Thursday, and we're entering the deepest, most holy days of Easter. And I just welcome all of you to join me today in this celebration tea party to give honor and glory to God and to beautiful, glorious Ascension, Easter, resurrection. That we are truly people of hope and faith and freedom because of God sending His Son for us. Well, I'm out on the deck. I have flowers behind me in a very special vase. I will try to pull it forward to show you. I'm wearing yellow. Easter is just seemingly yellow, pink, and aqua to me, and lavender because of all the blossoms and the flowers. Well, if you haven't gotten your tea yet, please pause and get your tea, and I'll be waiting for you. And I put apple blossoms on my tray. We also have hot cross buns and a lovely robin's egg blue, I would call this aqua, and lavender teapot and cups. So I wish I had a better way to display. I need a little table that goes here during the tea talk because I think it's so fun to see the tea set. But I have to put it down. Well, are you having a good week? I am wearing a very special hat. This hat belonged to my mother, and she wore this for many years, and then I took it when she was cleaning out her house. I grabbed it, and I have had it for many years, and it is to me, it depicts Easter, and I paired it with white gloves. I'm wearing white gloves today, and a special purse. Maybe this might be the most special purse that I possess or that I own. It is Italian. It is called Boletto. It is vintage. It is from the 1950s. And I think the way it opens, the way it is just so special. It's made with such quality. Things were made truly to last. And this was in the days when things were officially made in countries, and then they would export them. And I felt like it went with the necklace I've chosen, which is lotus blossom, another symbol of spring and new life and beauty. And I have never experienced the beauty of Easter the way I am this year. And I think it's because we had such a long winter. The bursts of color everywhere. And I learned something. The birds sing when the sun shines. As soon as the sun is shining, all the birds around my house are singing. If it's raining, they don't sing. Now, they may make a noise, but this choir of singing is just so exquisite. Well, should we pour out? Because I tell you, hot cross buns are so good. I used to make them homemade, and I would use a cardamom bread, Christmas Norwegian bread, recipe, and then I would put a little drop of almond and lemon in the frosting together. But these are from a local bakery, but they're very, very good. You couldn't do better than this, really, if you were buying it across, unless you were making it. And they are quite involved to make, yes. Well, let's show you the little cup. It's so sweet. Look at this. It's very old. All of this is Bavarian. The Bavarian china kind of has a smoky look, and they must have made a lot of it because there's such a variety. And because I'm right-handed, I like to pour the tea with my right hand. But I've learned something. The decoration on the pot is generally this way. And so if I can, ever lift it, my right hand is so much stronger than my left. So, and then this little pitcher, I have a little hair that came out that is just wanting to come around me. This is the same colors, aqua, pink, yellow, and it's got the same little, it's Bavarian. I can recognize Bavarian china now. It's different than British English china. It's different than Dutch china. It's different than German. It's a little like German china. But the Bavarian, well, it is German because Bavaria is in Germany. But it's a certain type of southern Germany where the mountains are that Bavaria has this lovely. When my husband was in the army for 2 years in Germany in the 1970s, this is before we married, his mother went to visit him, and she went to the china factories and bought darling little sets. For the dollar was so strong, and it was pennies to buy this beautiful Bavarian china in the shops. And now those factories, sadly, they don't exist because everything has been outsourced. So that's why thrifting is so fun and so important. And sadly, I must tell you, my favorite little thrift shop, Children's Hospital Thrift in Olympia, which has been a little treasure box for me. I've found so many wonderful things. And you're supporting a good cause. I've donated to them. It's a good place to donate. All the people are volunteers and all the money goes to the hospital. Well, they're closing. April 30th is the last day. So sad, so sad. But we'll hope that something good will come out of it. I don't know. We have to always look for the positive, don't we? Sometimes it's not easy. They want to go with big corporate donations, like $1 million donations from like Costco. So, well, you know, it's fun. I'm able to leave these gloves on and pour tea. I didn't know if I'd be able to. These are very comfortable. They're little lace gloves, and they kind of stretch. So they're very nice. But Easter isn't Easter without an Easter basket. And look at this. This is my Easter basket for this year. And I've had it sitting on my piano. I have a baby grand piano, and I had it sitting on there. And I've been putting in all the different things I wanted to give my grandchildren so I could keep straight. I have grandchildren that live far away. I've had to mail to Wisconsin, to California. I have them in Boise and Yakima. That's a little closer, but still. I want to show you one thing I have in here, and I don't know, well, I put other things in too, but this is special English pink box of tea for Easter, and I think we're going to use this for Easter for our family. Then this is something that some of you will be very familiar with. Now, we did not grow up with Paddington Bear the way that the British did. But I want to study him because he must be so special because the Queen loved him. And this is Paddington Bear's Easter plate, special commemorative plate that hangs on the wall. And Paddington Bear has flowers and a basket, and he's got a raincoat and a rain hat because it's England, you know? And I remember when the Queen had one of her jubilees, remember they dressed up a Paddington Bear and he went right into Windsor Castle and was Buckingham Palace. He was in Buckingham Palace with her. And here is a little booklet this came with. So this needs to go to one of my grandchildren's. It's not an eating plate, it's to be hung on the wall. It's a little hanging. So Paddington Bear, and so Paddington Bear says, Happy Easter to all the children on the tea table. And I want to study a little bit more about him. So anyway, I thought this was about the nicest Easter basket I've ever seen. It's got the bunnies, the sparkles, the flowers, the eggs. So sweet. So that is part of our Happy Easter today. We're listening to St. Matthew's Passion, and it's probably hard for you to hear because there is a lot of outside noise. But if you hear a little glint of music, that's St. Matthew's Passion. Yes. Well, I want to talk a little bit about the lotus blossom, and I have it. There's one on my wrist. I have earrings and this. And the lotus blossom, you can see it used symbolically in so much art, in scarves, in clothing, in paintings. It's an enchanting flower. And in 100 years ago in Europe, the aristocrats, well, they probably still had greenhouses. So they even in Russia, they could grow these exotic flowers. I've read books about Russia, and they would have the gardener, and he would have his greenhouse, and he would have his precious flowers and lilies growing, and it's, I believe in the lily family, but it blossoms out, and it has the five petals, 5 big petals generally, or sometimes they'll make it at 3, but it's usually 5. And it's interesting because nature is so dynamically balanced. And I had a friend who was very good at making flower bouquets once, and she told me it's nice to put either 3 flowers together or 5 and then multiply it up. It arranges nicer. Maybe all of you knew that. I didn't know that. I feel like I'm constantly learning, and I want to learn. But she told me that about 20 years ago. It was such a helpful hint when you're trying to put bouquets together because it really does have a balance. Yes. And I want to make an announcement. Tomorrow evening in Edgewood, there is a church. It's called the Slavic Gospel Center, I believe. It's a Baptist church. It's Ukrainian Russian. It is the most beautiful church of a modern building I have ever been in. It looks like a temple. It is on the square, and the capacity, it must seat over 1,000 people. And they have the 70-voice youth choir, then they have an adult choir, then they have a children's choir, then they have another choir, and they have a full orchestra. Well, they are presenting a beautiful Easter program Friday night at 7 o'clock in Edgewood. You can look it up, Slavic Gospel Church. Now, there are 2. There's one in Renton, but there's one in Edgewood. It's Edgewood, near Puyallup. You won't be sorry. My husband and I went to it at Christmas, and they are so good. It is so, the music is the highest level of orchestra music. It couldn't be better. They had a full horn section. They had French horns. They had cellos. They had violas, violins. They had everything. And then they had this choir that just massive. Well, for you who attended National Day of Prayer last year at the Rotunda, that is the choir that sang at the Rotunda. 70 voices singing from the top of the Rotunda, How Great Thou Art. And they're coming back this year. So that's my second announcement, that on May 1st, if you live in the Olympia area or can get to the Rotunda, the state Rotunda, we're having a National Day of Prayer concert. We're calling it a concert of prayer. The Russian choir, the Ukrainian youth choir will lead it, and it will be a variety of many. We have an orchestra. We have some wonderful people coming. It just will be a very positive, happy gathering. So both gatherings are free. So Friday, Good Friday tomorrow night, or May 1st at the Rotunda. Yes. Well, I have had a good week, but I finally partially solved my mail issue. And if any of you sent me any mail, letter, card, especially it was my birthday, it was the whole month of my birthday. What happened was, my son, who had been getting his mail here, building a cabin, had wanted to forward his mail from here. His cabin is done. And so he put it in at the post office, went in on good faith. A young man that was brand new, didn't know what he was doing, pushed on the computer, family. So all our mail went there. So we were told, go back in the post office, which he did, and get my mail to come back. Well, in the meantime, so much mail was lost. I had a dear friend call me last night and say the birthday card she had sent me came back saying undeliverable. And this is tragic. At least she told me. And I don't even know what mail I've lost, but on the positive side, it is fixed now. I am getting my mail again. So please, if you're mailing me anything, don't just discard that, or let me know, or remail something to me, because this is really, really very, very sad. But just like I said earlier, when something happens that we have no control over, we did everything. I went to the post office 3 times in person, and I was assured everything was good. But anyway, we just have to then give it to God and trust Him. That's all we can do. We can't let it take our joy. No, we cannot. And we can learn from everything. There's value and lessons in everything in life. One of the main lessons I believe we continually learn, I don't care how old you are or how young you are, is don't give up. Keep going. Persevere. And my daughter that lives in Wisconsin, she's a violinist, and she also had piano for many, many years. She had a wonderful piano teacher, Mary Jane Clark. She's a very well-known teacher. And Elizabeth was missing her teachers, and she wanted to contact her. She couldn't find her because she had moved, and so we went on this Sherlock Holmes trail to find Mrs. Clark, and we found her. It was so great. Don't give up, right? And so then Bowie, my daughter, has been in touch with Mrs. Clark, and it's been so special for her to reconnect with a teacher that gave her so much. And she was telling me, she said, Mom, Mrs. Clark made everything so clear in piano. There was never any confusion. She could explain to me exactly how she wanted it played and how to interpret the music, how to technically play. I thought, wow, what a gift. And I thought again, I have to tell this on my Tea Talk. This is the power of one woman that taught for probably 40, 50 years. She taught into her late 80s. Influenced so many young people, so many children. And when she talked to my daughter, she said, originally she had gone back to do graduate work and she thought she would be a university musician and teacher, but it didn't work out. And so she ended up opening her studio, and she said it was so much better all the way, all these relationships. And she always had a recital, 2 recitals, Christmas recital, spring recital every year. And that is what my other children's violin teacher had. How that helps with having a goal that you are going to learn to present and perform. That's half the battle, is losing that fear of performance and sharing your gift. You have to take the attitude, I get to share this and bless people, and if it's not perfect, it will be better next time because I did it this time. That's the key. Never give up, never give in, and if God has given you an open door and an opportunity, an invitation, walk through it. Don't be afraid. No. I just love this little purse. I love Easter. I think I'm going to carry it this Easter. And I think I'll wear this yellow jacket for Easter. I think yellow, black, and white are really nice colors. The colors of a taxi cab, the colors of a school bus. I love that yellow. Well, I hope you have a wonderful Easter with your family, and I hope you are all doing well and happy and thrilled with spring. Spring tells us it's so likened to resurrection, out of the winter, out of the death, into the life, because all those seedlings were in those dead trees, but they come forth. Picture of eternal life. Yes, the seed never really dies. No. Well, I want to just show you this vase, if I can somehow, without breaking anything. Oh, and these flowers behind me, I wanted to tell you. These are paper flowers, and aren't they fun? And they remind, this vase, I want to hold it so I don't break it. I just love this vase. Isn't that spring glory? It's like a French gentleman and a French lady. China, it's really old. And I have matching candlesticks that go with it on my table with white candles for Easter. I just think this looks like spring. Dancing and singing, the maiden and the young man and the maiden. So I wanted to show you that. But I will tell you that these paper flowers I have behind me, that they're on a string, and I thought, well, I want to put them in my window or above my curtains in my kitchen, my lace curtains. But I thought, I'm going to put them on the tea table. And I don't know if people still make paper mache not mache, it wasn't mache. It was paper flowers we used to cut in school with tissue paper and make these wonderful flowers and then bring them to our mothers. I think it was for Mother's Day. Isn't that just absolutely beautiful? I just love this vase. Well, I hope you all go to Maundy Thursday tonight. I'm going to go. I'm going to Good Friday at noon, and then I'm going to go to the concert Friday evening for Good Friday. And then there's Holy Saturday that many churches observe. And it's one of the most beautiful, beautiful services. the scriptures are read from Genesis to Revelation. The whole story of Messiah is read, and it's very deep. And then, of course, Sunday morning, sunrise, resurrection, and the most glorious service, Sunday morning Easter service, and then to your families for a nice, and if you have little ones, a little Easter egg hunt is always fun. So take out your best china for Easter, set your table, invite a guest, invite someone in that doesn't have a place to go. That's always a nice thing to do. Include others. Yes, include others. That is where the joy and happiness is. So, okay, and I thought there was one more thing I was going to tell you. Well, I think at Easter that giving a flower to someone is the best gift if you want to give somebody something. And a pot of flowers is nice that they can have in their garden all summer. I think that's the best gift. I mean, we all love flowers and something that really lasts. Now I have this little fun little clicker. Okay, God bless you, and this is that beautiful St. Matthew's Passion. If you haven't heard it, play it online and read the words. There's a Leonard Bernstein lecture on it that is just, it's all the Passion of the Christ from St. Matthew. Many people consider it the greatest piece of music ever written. And Johann Sebastian Bach, he went deep into the book of Chronicles and studied Solomon's and David's worship and tried to recreate that in these fabulous oratorios. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe, push the notification bell, and share. And if you like it, and comments are very treasured. Thank you so much. God bless, and have a fabulous, wonderful Easter day.